Hey there and welcome to my channel. This is Foggy Fiction and I am Haley. I'm a writer living with mental illness and today I'm going to talk about my unrealistic writing goals. I did a video recently where I listed my top 5 writing goals and I mentioned at the end how difficult it was for me to come up with goals that were both realistic and did not have deadlines attached to them. I also mentioned that at some point I would do videos covering those, so here we are, starting out with the unrealistic goals. Number 1, collaborate with another author. This one is super scary for me. I am extremely protective of my writing, I always have been, and I have heard horror stories from the indie author community about collaborations that did not work well. My what if voice is asking all of the scary questions. What if they just take my ideas and run off with them? What if they don't like any of my ideas? What if our writing styles are too different and it causes tension? What if they try to take more credit than is due? What if they feel that I'm taking more credit than is due? What if the communication is terrible? What if our schedules make it impossible? My what if voice is not the best. But the dream is to find someone who I can get along with, whose style complements my own, who is fun to work with, and we can just create something really awesome together. Number 2, write for a video game. Video games have been a part of my life for as long as I can remember, and the ones I love the most are the ones that have a really amazing story driving them. Games like Uncharted, Horizon, Days Gone, BioShock, The Last of Us, there are so many games that I could mention. They have these beautiful, deep stories that pull you in and refuse to let go. And since you get to be a part of making that story happen as you play the game, there's just something really awesome about that. Especially knowing that there are so many minds working together to make it become this amazing thing. It's something that leaves me speechless and I want to be a part of it. Number 3, write a graphic novel. Yet another one that requires some sort of collaboration. I would say at least half of what I read in a year are comic books and graphic novels. To say I love them is an extreme understatement. Some of my favorites include The Walking Dead, Fables, Lady Mechanica, and the graphic novel version of Stephen King's The Stand. I've also been reading The Boys after watching the show, and Hellblazer, which is about Constantine. I also absolutely adore the Charmed comics, but I am a hardcore original Charmed fangirl, so I would read them even if I didn't like comics. They're also really hard to find because they no longer make them, so I've only been able to get a hold of the last 2 volumes in print, and I'm lucky that I got all of the other volumes on my Kindle before they removed them from that. And the print volumes I got were expensive, very expensive, which is the reason why I don't currently have the rest of them in print. Maybe one of these days. All that to say, I love comics and graphic novels, and it is a dream of mine to be involved with writing one. Number 4, be able to successfully write in multiple genres. I already write in multiple genres and age categories, and I am comfortable with my writing in each of them. However, it is not super popular for authors to find success in writing in multiple genres and age categories. Even if you have a sizable fan base that will follow you over, they're going to compare those books with the books of yours that they already fell in love with. Unless you write under a different pen name, but that is its own set of obstacles as you're essentially starting from scratch again. Unless you are open about that pen name, which still has its own set of obstacles. I'm not saying it's impossible or that it hasn't been done, I'm just saying there's a reason it's on my unrealistic goals list. And number 5, see my book featured somewhere. I'm not picky and I'm playing loose with the word featured. It could be that my book is on a bestseller list or that it's on a shelf at Barnes & Noble. It could be that my book is in one of those fancy Instagram posts that I love, or that it was reviewed on BookTube, good or bad. I just want to see my book out there doing its book thing and get my warm and fuzzies over it. Anyway, those are my top 5 unrealistic writing goals. Let me know what unrealistic writing goals you have. Like this video if you enjoyed it, and maybe consider subscribing if you're interested in watching my very clumsy journey as a writer living with mental illness. Enjoy the happy moments.